Good evening, New Jersey. My name is Serrano Keith Baldio, and I used to be the president of the NJ Pulse News in Paterson, New Jersey. And today I want to discuss to you this gentleman right over here by the name of John Olsen. Let's see, right? And this other gentleman here by the name of Harry Milbar. So, I used to run a newspaper, and I want to tell you about some criminal charges that we're expected to file against Mr. Olsen here. I spent my 12 years in Paterson, New Jersey, uncovering public corruption, criminal activities by council members, and you can say also criminal activities by judges and the prosecutor. But when I find criminal charges against lawyers, I think it's important that we make sure we file those charges. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to make this video very long because there's some other things going on that we want to talk about. If you have a case with John Olsen here in New Jersey, you need to carefully watch him and make sure that he does not add anything in that case that can get you in trouble. And for instance, he's accused of lying to a judge. He's accused of manipulating information, withholding information. And if he has a case against you, what you also want to do is fine-tooth that case. And if you find lies in the case, which I did, really bold-faced lies, you need to file a criminal complaint against him. Now, here's how this works. If somebody lies in a criminal complaint and the attorney knows or should have known, the prosecutor's office is supposed to prosecute those cases. Or you can report it to the Attorney General's office of New Jersey, which is what I plan to do. So he filed, my wife was targeted by the Paterson corrupted officials. And I have a lawsuit against him, a civil lawsuit. So what they did is they hired this guy, the government hired this guy to target my wife. And he was caught on video on a police cam chasing her down the street. 4 police cars had to chase him off of her. And 5 months later, he said nothing. We went to court with my wife, said nothing about defamation. But all of a sudden, Joel Olsen here comes up with a defamation suit, and he lied in it and says, suggested that he told me it was defamation. I didn't cure the defamation. He never sent a letter, so he lied to the court. He lied to the court saying that when this guy was pulled over, he showed the cops his driver's license and his insurance. Well, we have the videotape of the cops pulling him over on the dash cam, never showed driver's license, never showed that. And there were several other things that he lied about, including the withholding the names of the elected officials, because in my post that he sued before, he has the post, and it has the elected official, at least one of them or 2 of them, that says Councilman Andrew Sayer was behind him. But Joel Olsen here withheld that from the court, basically lying to the court, blocking it out. So the judge won't see it's the Paterson officials behind this and perhaps paying him, because this guy doesn't have any money. So where is he getting paid from? So he's getting paid from the corrupted officials in the city of Paterson, and that's how low, that's how devious these lawyers get. They go to law school and they allege that they want to help people, but if my wife is targeted and you are the lawyer that comes up and decides that you're going to defend the corrupted people, and you know very well that what you published was not the truth, and you still publish it anyway, then it's a lie. So I contacted the judge on this case, and I asked the judge if he could go ahead and file the charges against, report his criminal activities, because there's a lot more that he did in the complaint that I don't want to talk about. If he could report his criminal activities to the prosecutor's office. So I'm waiting for the judge to do that in Union City. The deviousness and the lies and the criminal activities of lawyers should always be reported. So if John Olsen has a case against you, look at it very carefully and make sure if he lies in it, which he's proven to do, file a complaint with the Attorney General's office. Why are you doing that? Because I spoke to the AG's office and they said the more people file complaints against these lawyers, the more they make an effort to investigate it. So, and if you're a client and he takes your case and he's trying to lie to the court, make sure he doesn't get you in trouble and lie for you, because that's going to come back again for you. So we know he's a liar, is what I told the judge. We know he committed criminal acts of perjury, which is what I told the judge, withholding information. There was a video that he took thousands of hours of videos. We were informed when he was chasing my wife down. Basically what they did was they were trying to get dirt on my wife. It was an election season. They wanted to get me out of the race. I have a newspaper. They wanted to damage my reputation. And they were chasing my wife. She almost ran off the road. She could have gotten killed. But stuff was posted on my page that I wasn't aware of. So we're investigating that as well, who went into my Facebook page. But he is the one that filed the claim knowing or should have known that they were based on lies. And he needs to have the evidence that what he's saying is the truth. And he didn't have it. So I told the judge, you need to file a criminal charge. He said, yes, Mr. Olsen. Oh, I will. So we're waiting to see what the judge is going to do. But you cannot be a lawyer and be lying, withholding evidence, giving false evidence, and pretending that the people that are really involved in the case is not involved in the case. So this is how devious and deceptive he is when he filed the case. The problem with him is he filed a case against me. And I'm a very detailed person. I'm a publisher. So I read stuff very detailed. I make sure that I whatever is being said is the truth. I make sure that it corresponds to facts and evidence. I make sure that it's not manipulative. I make sure that you're not trying to put one over on the court or the judge or me or somebody else. I make sure of stuff of that. So when I read the complaint, I actually answered it first myself. And then what he also did was he added my newspaper, an old newspaper that was probably practically out of business, the NJ Pulse News, and he specifically lied consistently. This is what we want the prosecutor and the Attorney General to look at. He said the NJ Pulse newspaper published that this guy was going to hurt my wife and kill my wife or whatever, which we're investigating right now because stuff was changed on my Facebook page before he brought this suit. And nothing was ever printed in my newspaper. Nothing. Another lie told by him to get the case in the court. So one of the trickery that he used is if he added the NJ Pulse, an old commercial newspaper, I am forced to get a lawyer and I'm forced to pay all this money. So that's what he did. He cost me a lot of money in a criminal act, lying and perjuring himself in the court, and that's what we want the prosecutor to look at. So this is a deviant, in my opinion. And by the way, all the posts that he sued, he also hid from the court. At the bottom, everything says opinion, editorial, opinion, editorial. But we kept that from the court because if the judge saw that these things says, wait, it's an opinion. How do you want me to sue an opinion? How do you want me to sue an editorial? That's against federal law. It's free speech, it's the freedom of the press. But he intentionally kept that away from the judge. In my newspaper, it also says everything in here is the opinion of the publisher. It also withheld that from the judge. We put it to the judge, but unfortunately I couldn't afford to fly back for a trial. I was forced in an illegal trial because of him, against my press, against my constitutional right. With this guy and the Paterson officials, the government hired him to target my wife. And he got involved in this corruption. He is protecting the corrupted Paterson officials. It says op-ed just as this, and he decided to sue anyway because he was greedy for money. That's all he cared about. John Olsen didn't look at the case and say, look, I can't say this. I remember I was interviewing people and there was a discrepancy in the case. And I said, listen, you can't publish this because there's stuff in here and you can't file this, even a criminal act, because when they check you on this, if they catch you lying, you can be charged with perjury. And that's what we want him charged with. Lying on the complaint, perjury, and if all that is proven, we also want extortion, because this was done to extort money from me. And I wrote him on the eve of their judgment, because when I didn't go, he got a default judgment. And my attorney tried to talk to him and deal with him and said, look, let's just end this. And my attorney dropped out. I said, look, I sent him a letter myself. And I said, look, this is my wife. They targeted my wife. They went after my family. And Olsen didn't give a damn, didn't care that these Paterson corrupted officials hired him to go after my wife. All he cared about was the money. So if you're an attorney for money and you're looking to lie and deceive and do all this kind of wickedness, and it's time you get checked. So we're pushing the judge for the criminal charges against him. We're going to be pushing the AG for criminal charges against him. These kind of attorneys are not supposed to be practicing law in the state of New Jersey. They're very deceptive. And just like corrupted officials, when I catch them, I call them out. So I'm calling him out too. I'm going to make sure if the judge doesn't file the criminal charges, we will file the criminal charges here and with the Attorney General's office to make sure that's on the record. And when the newspaper get this defamation thing he got and it's broadcast, they went after my wife, they targeted my wife to get it, and he lied, then I think the public is going to know more about what he's done. That was wrong, deceptive, misleading, and giving false information to a court. If this happens to you, don't do it. Don't go with him. If he's forcing you to lie and say things happened when it didn't happen, and if you're on the other side, carefully look at that complaint. And if you realize that he's not telling the truth and he's lying to the court and being untruthful to the court, file a complaint with the New Jersey Attorney General's office, and more complaints, and with the Bar Association and with the judges. I don't think the judge is going to do anything here, so that's why I'm going to do it myself. My name is Serrano Baldi. I'm the former owner of the NJ Pulse News. They targeted my wife, and these were the two people that the government of Paterson, several witnesses said, that targeted paid them to target my wife. And they did everything they could to cover it up and push this false lawsuit. 6 months later, at the asking of the Paterson officials and the payment, because this guy's broke, so he can't pay him. So he's allegedly being paid by the Paterson corrupted officials. And that's the kind of money he's getting. He's getting corrupted money to go after an innocent woman alone on the highway just coming home from work. This is John Olsen here for you. So all this I've told you the judge is nothing new. All of this is in court records, and it's in a complaint now about to file with the Attorney General's office and with other offices as well, to make sure people know what he's done and who he aided to go after my wife and to cover up for them and to punish me for defending and speaking up to protect my own wife. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.